I was just like blackballed and, just totally canceled.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at 10 actors who ruined their legacy. For this list, we're focusing on actors who had, at one time, built an extremely long, successful, and beloved career before irredeemably marring all of that with controversy. They aren't always completely out of work today, but their reputations are damaged to the point of being lost.
As you may have heard, this summer there were allegations of a toxic work environment at our show. And then there was an investigation.
Steven Seagal. The no-nonsense action movie genre found something of a blockbuster home in the 1990s, and back then, Steven Seagal was establishing himself as one of its leading faces.
I'm thrilled to death to hear that, yeah. But it leaves a lot of open territory.
But while he might have gone down in cinema history as one of the greats, he instead has a long and disturbing list of sexual assault and harassment lawsuits to his name, spanning from the early 90s to the present day.
This time, the accusations coming against actor Steven Seagal. Women have come forward with their stories of his alleged sexual misconduct over the past few months. But one woman, our guest, says Seagal went much further than just harassment.
He also regularly makes the news for his long-term friendship with and admiration for the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin. In 2016, he obtained Russian citizenship, and in 2018, he was made special envoy to the US by Putin. All of which means that Seagal is now a far cry from his film career, and any legacy he might have had has long since disappeared.
And I wonder how you deal with all that.
Yeah.
Hello, Steven Seagal.
Take the microphone off you.
Yeah.
Steven Seagal there, and of course, although he didn't respond there, he has said previously he denies any allegations that have been made against him.
Charlie Sheen. In the 80s and 90s, Charlie Sheen was prime lead actor material. The son of Martin Sheen, he scored key roles in a string of successful pictures, including Platoon and Wall Street.
I just want to let you know, Mr. Gecko, that I've read all about you at NYU Business, and I think you're an incredible genius. I've always dreamed of one thing, and that's to do business with a man like you.
In the 21st century, he was known for 2.5 Men, but then came a series of high-profile scandals, including allegations of domestic violence and sexual abuse. Sheen publicly disclosed that he was HIV positive in 2015, but controversy erupted following multiple reports that he hadn't revealed his condition to previous partners.
I'm here to admit that I am, in fact, HIV positive. And I have to put a stop to this onslaught, this barrage of attacks.
Perhaps Sheen's most infamous episode came in 2011, however, with his headline-grabbing Tiger Blood and winning interview.
Because I'm me, I'm different. I just have a different constitution, I have a different brain, I have a different heart, I have a different, I get tiger blood, man.
In the years since, the actor has made attempts at a comeback, but he's now inescapably been tarred as a kind of cautionary tale of fame and excess. John Travolta. Not everyone can claim to have once been the epitome of cool, but this guy definitely can. From his breakout role as the T-Bird Danny Zuko in Grease, to a definitive outing as Vincent Vega in Pulp Fiction, Travolta probably should be an unrivaled legend by now.
Pretty smart.
Yeah, I got my moments.
In between those two movies, however, the 80s were a rough time for his career. And for the most part, ever since Pulp Fiction, it's also been dicey.
Now, if you excuse me, I'm gonna go home and have a heart attack.
Travolta's unwavering dedication to Scientology has always been controversial and has potentially alienated him from fans. Again, though, it's an on-screen regression that's probably done the most damage. Battlefield Earth is regularly described as one of the worst movies of all time, and Travolta headed the bill.
I'll be damned.
It's a film that's heavily tied to Scientology as well, given that it's an adaptation of a novel written by the movement's founder, L. Ron Hubbard. Roseanne Barr. As the title star of a hugely successful sitcom running from the late 80s to the late 90s, Roseanne Barr was seen by many as the voice of a generation.
You better take a long, hard look at yourself, Roseanne. Because if you are this obsessed with my life, there is obviously something missing from yours.
Just figure that out.
Her character was one that the whole family could get behind, and when Roseanne was rebooted in 2018, she looked set to capture a whole new audience. However, with one tweet, she lost it all.
With that single inflammatory tweet, Roseanne's rising star imploded today.
A hugely controversial post led to her freshly returned show being axed within hours. And despite attempts to apologize, Barr couldn't regain her following or reputation. So much so that today, despite a decades-long career, she's most famous for those words on social media.
I never got to have my say or to explain what happened or even to apologize for the mistake I made, to set it straight.
Robert Blake. In terms of longevity before Scandal, few can rival Robert Blake. He came to fame as a prolific child actor, most notably as one of MGM's Little Rascals in the early 1940s.
I've got to hurry, Mom. Spacey's called a special meeting at the gang's clubhouse, and I don't want to be late. So long, Mom. So long, Mr. Henry.
As an adult, he became known for intense performances in films like In Cold Blood and in the TV series Beretta. However, his personal life took an incredibly dark turn in 2001 when his wife was found murdered, fatally shot while sitting in Blake's car just outside of a restaurant at which they had dined.
And that's when the Robert Blake murder case happens. The wife of actor Robert Blake was killed Friday as she sat in the couple's car.
Blake was the prime suspect in the case, which developed into a multi-layered conspiracy as his trial captivated the nation. Although he was acquitted of criminal charges, the cloud of suspicion never fully lifted. A civil case followed, and in 2005, Blake was found liable for his wife's wrongful death and ordered to pay $30 million.
That's what Hollywood is about. That's what high-end stuff is about. That's why millionaires never get arrested for anything. Millionaires don't commit crimes. Things happen.
Ellen DeGeneres. While DeGeneres is best known as an, at one time, major draw for daytime television, she made her name as a pioneering sitcom actor.
Ellen, are you coming out or not?
Yeah, Ellen, quit jerking us around and come out already!
What is the big deal? I've got a whole hour.
Over the years, she became an LGBTQ+ icon. She's long been a campaigner for animal rights, and in general, she had a reputation for being one of the nicest people around. But the higher they are, the further they fall. And when allegations emerged that she created a supremely toxic work environment on her show, well, it shattered her carefully crafted image.
The biggest common thread that everyone told me is that what goes on behind the scenes is a far cry from what the show represents in their Be Kind messaging.
Former employees came forward with accounts of bullying, intimidation, and claims that all Ellen was really responsible for was a culture of fear. It drastically contradicted DeGeneres' on-screen persona, leaving many fans feeling betrayed and her brand totally in tatters.
Let me give you some advice out there. If anybody's thinking of changing their title or giving yourself a nickname, do not go with the Be Kind lady. Don't do it.
Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson was once a Hollywood heavyweight, a charismatic leading man, and an acclaimed director. For studios at one stage, he was about as bankable as it was possible to be. But that all feels a very long time ago. In more recent years and decades, a string of public outbursts has exposed a darker side to the actor.
Are those anti-Semitic words?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Sounds horrible. And I'm ashamed of that. That came out of my mouth. And I'm not that. That's not who I am, you know?
Anti-Semitic remarks made during an arrest for a DUI, racist tirades, and domestic abuse allegations have turned Gibson instead into one of Hollywood's most divisive and controversial figures. He has mustered something of a comeback, most notably gaining critical recognition as a director of the 2016 war film Hacksaw Ridge, but there's no doubt that his off-screen actions have overshadowed his achievements.
So I think it's a story worth telling. If you're going to spend 18 months on something, it better be worthwhile.
Kevin Spacey. As a double Oscar winner, Kevin Spacey was hailed as a chameleon-like performer and an undoubted member of A-list acting royalty. With his name on the bill, a movie stood an extremely good chance of doing well, and his skill in playing deeply unsettling characters in particular was highly revered. Spacey's career came crashing down, though, when multiple allegations of sexual assault and misconduct surfaced in 2017.
One of Hollywood's best-known actors, Kevin Spacey, the latest high-profile star caught up in allegations.
The accusations spanned decades, with many involving young actors and colleagues, all of which painted a disturbing picture of abuse of power. Many of the cases against Spacey are ongoing, but his name is now synonymous with the film industry's dark underbelly.
He's been found not guilty of all of these offenses. Kevin Spacey will see this as an opportunity to revive his career, but what played out in court was truly riveting.
Woody Allen. As a writer, director, and actor, Woody Allen's is one of the longest and most decorated careers of all. Countless actors, comedians, and filmmakers also list him as one of their influences.
Out of this has grown
lawyers and psychologists and district attorneys and private investigators. And I mean, I'm saying it's a multi-million-dollar industry that has sprouted up over a total non-event.
However, Allen's legacy became irrevocably intertwined with the sexual abuse allegations made against him in relation to his adopted daughter, Dylan Farrow. While never criminally charged, the claims and the ensuing custody battle with Mia Farrow cast a long shadow over his work. Some of Allen's former collaborators have distanced themselves from him over the course of time.
I was just reading about this afternoon. That's a French movie. And yeah, it was sort of a whole piece on, can you love the art if you don't respect the artist?
Some of his films have been met with protests and boycotts in the past. And at best, complicated relationship with his wife, Soon-Yi Previn, who he met when she was a child, as she is also an adopted daughter of Mia Farrow, is another reason why Allen's legacy is tarnished.
It was the relationship that quickly became tabloid fodder. Soon-Yi Previn, the then 21-year-old adopted daughter of actress Mia Farrow, was caught in an affair with Farrow's longtime boyfriend, Woody Allen.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Bill Cosby. He was known as America's dad in the 1980s, thanks to his beloved and acclaimed portrayal of the warm and relatable Cliff Huxtable in The Cosby Show.
And it's under control, so no
problem. Right. How do you expect to get into college with grades like this?
No problem.
Huh?
See, I'm not going to college.
Damn right.
But Bill Cosby's image today is at complete odds with what he once was, as it became clear, starting in 2014, that underneath his wholesome persona, there lurks a dark secret.
And I felt a lot of shame, I felt a lot of guilt, I felt a lot of shoulds. I should have known there was something wrong with this man. I should have felt something was off with him.
Multiple allegations of sexual assault were made against Cosby, including that he drugged his victims, with the many claims spanning almost the entirety of his career up until that point. Cosby was ultimately convicted and sent to prison for 3 to 10 years in 2018. That conviction was overturned in 2021, and he was released. But America's dad will never again be thought of in the same way.
The Philadelphia Supreme Court threw out the conviction, saying Cosby's due process rights were violated.